Man, we had, in order to cut that 13 years, I had to do that 6 months and not one day less.
Right, and
so
couldn't get no trouble, no nothing.
Nothing, but this 6-month boot camp was not in the same part where the federal prison was. It go take you across the street from the prison to a building.
Okay.
And so you there for 180 days. Going to the Sam Houston forest, chopping trees in the forest with a machete. And you get another charge if you kill the snake. Because it's on federal property. And you can't, and I called my mama one night. I said, oh, forget this mess. I was crying. I said, I don't know gangster no more. Forget it. I quit. She said, if you do, don't you call here, collect none of the time. Because if you quit, you go back to prison. You don't go home. So I had to tough it out. Then I was so arrogant and cocky, I would disobey sometimes. And we had a drill sergeant. He was from New York. His name was Mr. Kriako, and he looked like he was 6'6", and he was real big. He was Italian, so he looked like the mafia, but he would dog you out. And so one time he caught me talking to my blankie, who was a Filipino, never been in prison before in her life. Her boyfriend was a kingpin, and they gave her straight 6 months boot camp. She didn't do no time, just a shock treatment. And so we were talking, whispering, and he caught us, and he made me take my bed outside for 15 days. So at night when everybody's in the building sleep, my bed is outside in the parking lot with the chiggers and the mosquitoes, because Houston got them chiggers, mosquitoes, all of that stuff. For 15 days, I had to sleep outside.
Now them federal nightmares.
That's a federal nightmare for real. Because he was crazy. He'd be hiding up under the buildings, like the 10 buildings, and when you doing drill in the morning, he just looked for stuff. Excuse me, so he would hide up under the building just to see if your mouth moved. Then now you don't eat lunch today. Oh, you gotta stand up and eat. You gotta stand up and eat in attention. Like you can't even bend, you can't hold your head down. You gotta eat like you like you a robot. Oh yeah, he was mean, he was terrible. Sure. And what's so crazy is when I went back in 2011, he's still there. But they went away with the boot camp program. But he working woodworking. He worked in the woodwork shop, so he was over it. He was letting people make stuff. And so one of the counselors called and said, Scott back. And he calls me down there, and when I explained what happened, and he was like, well, I'm gonna let you make it. But he put me in front of his whole class like, yo, she was hell. She was terrible. But I got her mind right. I ended up graduating. My mama died 2 weeks before I graduated from boot camp. So
you've been through so much.
Me.
You a living testimony. Like you got a real story, movies. Your whole life is like to change. You can change so many people because they can look at the mistakes that you've been through and the trials and tribulations that you've been to and apply it to their life. And they can miss it. They can miss all of that extra because all you gotta do. I just told my daughter this morning. Sometimes people make life so complicated, but yet it's so simple. I'm not saying that you have to live like the Joneses. I'm not saying you have to live like Jay-Z and Beyonce or whoever you want to be like, or Oprah or your Jeff Bezos. What I'm saying is take what you got and make it work, because everybody on the face of this earth has something in them that they like to do. Everybody, God give
you like to make cookies, baby. Sell cookies in the neighborhood. I don't care. $10 a day is more than no dollar a day. And they add up at the end of the week.
Yes, ma'am.
So I give that. I got 7 and 8-year-old grandson. They're the Boss Brothers. I know you've seen them on my page. They own a bow tie business. They just signed with a talent agent in LA. They just published their first book, but they already know. Oh, I want blah blah blah. Okay, I gotta go sell a book. I gotta go sell some bow ties.
As entrepreneurs.
Already, everybody in my mentorship program, I started businesses for 13 people, and they're all LLC. That part, and LLCs, everything they need. Show them how to get business funding, how to make this work for you. Telling them about the stock market. Everybody can't learn it. It's hard, but if you apply yourself just to do something different, then you get different results. If you want something you never had, you got to do something you never done. And when you do something you never done, you get blessed with that you never had. So, I mean, it's not as complicated. If I'd have known it was this easy when I was doing what I was doing, but I don't take it back because that's what made me. And I can deal with people, and I can read people, and I see the bull crap from a mile away. I let you finish what you gotta say, but you won't ever get another chance to do that again.
I heard Jay Prince say some powerful stuff. He said once a dope boy or boys in the streets figure it out, it's over with.
It's over.
Yeah, it's over with because he done seen everything. He know how to get it, and he know how to maneuver in rooms and talk and look at numbers.
People don't even. I was talking to my husband's grandmother yesterday, and she raised him from 4 years old, and he's the only child, and his dad was her only son, and she had one daughter. And we was telling her about some things yesterday, and she was like, well, when y'all did that? I was telling her about, because sometimes we don't, and I want to say this to encourage somebody that may watch the show, because sometimes we feel like we don't belong, we're not worthy, or it's, why me? Or why did they choose me? Or why did this opportunity fall in my lap? God allows things to happen. So my husband and I got an opportunity to become part owners of 7 emergency rooms. We get to the place, we like the only Black people in the room. And the people looking at us like, which I came to mop the floor.
Right.
I came to mop the floor in a skirt, in a dress shirt, and he dressed up. But my point is, the opportunity presented itself, and my husband knew how to maneuver. He knew how to carry the conversation. Now, guess what? Them same people be calling us to come to visit. Oh, come by my house. I want you to see my ranch. I want you to see my this, that, and the other. You just have to prepare yourself, which means you have to study to show yourself approved. So if you don't know, I used to read books when I was in prison, words to use to make people think I'm really smart. Somebody might need that book. Let me tell you for real. I used to do that because my husband has always been articulate. He was a white collar crime dude. He wasn't street. So when I met him, he using all these words like, what the hell is he talking about? You know what I'm saying? So while we were separated, we had only been married 10 months. We only been together for a year and a half before we got married. Like 18 months before we got married. He was the first person I met and dated when I moved to Texas. So I didn't know his story. He didn't know my story. We just felt connected and God did that thing. But I used to read that book and I'd write him like them long words.
Yeah, the doctor words.
Yeah, make up that, oh, I got this. But it works because if you need to know what to say and when to say it when you walk in the room. Because when you walk in the room, I tell people all the time, I go in there, so you see I didn't dress up today. But when I walk in the room, I'm going to own the room. I don't care if it's whoever in there. Y'all can have 40, 50, 60 million, 100 million. I am going to make sure you understand that you're not no better than me. I'm not no better than you. In God's eyesight, we are the same. So you're going to respect me and I'm going to respect you. And if you don't respect me, you don't get none. But if you present yourself like that, then doors will open that you never thought your feet would cross or enter. You just have to make sure you study. If it's something you want to do, you need to spend at least 1 hour a day applying this something to your life. Listening. At my 7 and 8 year, I make them listen to how the wealthy kids, the mindset of wealthy kids, how they speak, how they think, teaching them about the stock market. My 7-year-old grandson, for his birthday, he didn't want a birthday cake. He wanted to go to Wall Street. And that's where we took him in March to New York so that he can see, because that's what they got it downloaded on their phone. You can ask them, what's the price of gold per ounce? What's the price of silver? Who's the richest person in the world? What's Elon Musk's net worth? 7 years old. At 7 years old, I couldn't even count to 100.
Right.
And that's the truth. I know I couldn't.
Right.
And I definitely didn't know what a stock market. I ain't never heard of it in my life.
These kids so much advanced now. They got technology. They got all the information just to push it.
And not only do I teach them that, but I teach them to give back. My husband just said, we was just down here Friday. I came down here Friday. I went to Domino's. I bought 28 boxes of hot pizza. I bought 5 cases of water. And I had about $20,000 worth of brand new clothes. And we parked over on the corner somewhere around here. And we blessed over 100 homeless people. Friday is on my page. Wasn't nothing planned, just though, let's just go be a blessing. So the kids, I make my grandkids go with me. My daughters go with me. When you see me, you said that you see my family. I got a choir. Them my children. I made a choir. My step team, Step to Connect. We performed for Walmart. They gave us $10,000 in March. I made a team in 30 days. Just made it up. But guess what? when you apply yourself and people want to do it and you bless them, oh, y'all step on my team, give each one of y'all $200. Let's go. Because, and then now let me show you how to flip the 200.
Yeah.
My 11-year-old granddaughter say, oh, I just ordered me a whole bunch of beads on a jewelry machine so I can sell it to all my friends in the neighborhood. Yeah. You just gotta.
You're a blessing to a whole lot.
Get out there and do it.
That's you just gotta get out there and do it, man. Just like I did with my podcast. I didn't listen to nobody. It hadn't even been a year. Mm-hmm. And I had so many people against me telling me, don't, you should stop. And I just kept going.
No, don't ever stop. Don't ever stop, because guess what? We're not supposed, when I started the nonprofit, I was the same way because I didn't get no support. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about family members and they know I don't care. I put them on, I go social media live every Thursday and I talk about them. Real is rare. Real is rare. So for the people that send me the $2 on my $2 Tuesday, I pray that God give it back to them 1,000-fold, not 100-fold. Or they may comment, Miss Tisha, I need $50. Oh, here you go. Oh, my son need $50 and good. Here you go. Because real is rare. But you don't let people stop you, because the people that you think are gonna support you are never, ever the people that's really real with you. They talk it, they gonna tell you they support you until you get started. And then, oh girl, when I came home from the feds, I didn't have nothing. I didn't have a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of. My sister would walk in the house and she'd give me a few dollars. I know you ain't never worked, you ain't gonna work. I'm not. And thank you for what you give me. Let me figure out a way to flip this. I don't care if it's 100. Let me go buy 3 pair of fake Timberland boots and go sell them. That's what I do. It's real. I don't care what you think. I'm trying to survive for my children. So the thing is, it's too many people, as a thank you, Holy Spirit, too many people, especially our men and our young men, that's not doing what they need to do because they think they can't do it, or they don't want to go work for nobody, but don't have enough grinding them to say, well, you know what, my homeboys like hats, right? Fishing hats. Let me go get me 12 fishing hats. Mom, can I borrow $100? I'm gonna give it back to you, but I'm gonna flip these hats, then I'm gonna buy some more, then I'm gonna give you your money. Now I got enough to go reflip.
A lot of people don't have that entrepreneurship in them to get up and go. They'd rather see somebody else do it and then try to tag along sometimes. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but they should think about, and my husband says all the time, he says it's gotta be in you.
It gotta be in you.
And so a lot of people, I push so many people. I mean, I have my foot in their bag. I ain't playing. Like, they call me, you what your rent dude? You call it who?
For real.
No, take you 300 and go flip you some cameras.
Exactly.
You know, go flip you some hair. Your friends wear eyelashes. Go sell your friends some eyelashes. You on social media getting thousands of likes. Exactly. Tell everybody I don't need to give you $1. Exactly. See what happens. But people they don't creatively think. And we don't use the percentage of our brain that we should use for the right things. We watching other people. We want to be like other people. And again, you get deceived by what you see, because everything you see is not real. Half of the cars they driving are leased. They're not paid for. They got all this debt. And if you look at somebody and say, oh, their net worth is $2 million, they still broke. Because if you got a house and a car, what they got in the bank? A lot of people don't even know that they're supposed to have 6 months of savings up for your living expenses. So whatever your living cost is every month, you need that, because if something happened like COVID, then we struggle. So everybody in my group, I make sure that they surpass 69% of Americans. Meaning, the research study says 69% of Americans don't even have $1,000 in savings. 69% of Americans. But I got 7 and 8-year-olds they have surpassed 69% of Americans. So my whole thing is not just about the prison trips. It's about bridging the gap so I can keep your kid out of prison. I can keep my kid out of prison. Or and your parent don't have to your parent does not have to be one that has gone to prison for me to help you. I got people in my group whose parents never been to prison. The parents just don't know how to teach them how to get it. How to get it.
Right. I think that's a big problem in the Black community. They teach that. They should teach that in school.
And definitely in prison too.
In prison too. Like, you should know about credit, land, and all that, because that's where we lack and we're behind it. You know what I mean? I feel as a race. You know
yes, most definitely. Because here's the deal: people coming out of prison. I just spoke at the Cal unit. It was an all men's prison facility, and it's on the other side of Cal, Texas. And when I went, I was the first woman they let come there to speak. They heard me on the background check podcast. And so when I went in there, I told them, I talked to them, and I'm telling them, see, I can tell them now because see, back when I was young and crazy, it didn't matter if you opened the car door for me. I'm independent. I opened the car door for myself. It didn't matter if you pumped my gas for me because I know how to pump my gas. Now, since I've met my husband, I have not pumped gas.
Open the door.
I ain't opening no door. My 7 and 8-year-old grandsons beat him to the door.
Right.
I'm not paying no bills. I'm doing what a queen of the castle is supposed to be doing, and he's doing what a king. So I get to go in there and tell these men, if your situations are not like they're supposed to be, do a self-check. You got to change the game because you're going to get blessed when you do what's right. We're not perfect. We're going to mess up. I'm just saying you got to try and start somewhere. So some of those men didn't know how to, they was like, oh, how I open a bank account when I get out?
Yes,
Why your husband pumped the gas for you? I said, he's over there asking. I run out before I pump it.
Right.
I ain't pumping no gas.
You ain't pumping no gas.
Yeah. But my point is, it's so many people that even with the women not knowing how to treat their kings or to get a husband. Oh, you start as a boyfriend, or you're dating or engaged, and you don't even know what it takes to keep them when you get them. You want a good man, but then people don't know life principles. So that's why when you see me on my page with the boxing gloves and the boxing robe, when I do my meet and greets, I do them at the boxing arenas. And I come out in the boxing robe because it's us versus life. And if you don't know it, you can't do it. And you can't listen to nobody else. You have to apply it to yourself because what you know can't nobody take. Can't nobody take what you know. They might take what you have, but they can't take what you know. So when people don't know, I didn't know once upon a time. I had to grow and I had to learn. And I had to learn to be submissive. And I had to learn to not be so thugged out and so aggressive and so independent. And once I learned that, then I started getting blessed. So then when my husband and I used to get into it, we both Tauruses. So I'm a pit bull and a skirt and he a bull. And we going back and forth. And we had to learn to stop. And this not working like this because I'm not going to hear you. You're not going to hear me. And I got this in my mind. You got this in your mind. And we're a powerful couple together. So we had to start praying. So sometimes he'll just stop now and he'll just, oh yeah, she in her mood. Let me pray. And he'll pray. That works. People don't want to hear about it because we've gotten so far away from God. But I can't do nothing without him. And in everything that I do, I give him the glory because it's by God's grace that I'm still alive. Done been robbed, left on side road, stabbed in the face. I done shot people. I done it all. But use drugs and drink. But robbing folks, doing this, getting robbed, doing all that, I done tried all of it. It didn't work for me. But all of that made me who I am now. And so I'm good with being able to go into the juvenile and tell them, you being real dumb right now. So people call me, lady just messaged me the other day off of Facebook. She said, I don't really know you, you don't know me, but I follow you. And I value your opinion. I have a 16-year-old daughter, and what time do you think I should give her as a curfew? What can I tell her about wearing crop tops? Because I don't like crop tops for her at 16. So I messaged her right back. I was coming from church. I said, listen, let me pray before I respond. Because I want to make sure when I respond, you get the right response. And if you can't relate it, call me and put me on the phone with her. Because I'll be able to I get them straight. Right. So I said, first of all, you got to keep it cute and classy. Because now everybody got people thinking, oh, they want the big butts and the all of this fake stuff and all of this stuff, BBLs, MLEs, whatever they call it, I don't know. But they want this nonsense stuff and they think that's the way it's supposed to be. But God didn't give you all that when you were born. All you got to do is be you. And my pastor was just preaching yesterday. He said, sometimes people can be pretty ugly. Yeah, they can. You could be pretty with an ugly attitude, with ugly characteristics, with an ugly demeanor. So it's not about the looks. You want somebody nice looking, okay, yeah, but whatever God's got for you, you just need to want that. It's about what's in here. So I got to tell her that and tell her, yo, she's 16. She's going to be 16 because that's what they do. But just tell her to keep it cute and classy. Keep it classy because if you never leave nothing for the imagination, what's your value? Your stock done went down. So I get to go into prisons now and teach all of that good stuff.
Go ahead.
No, I said I just get to go. My goal on January the 8th when I did my vision board meet and greet. And I'm 7 years old. I have people drive all the way from Louisiana just to hear me teach. I only teach 30 minutes once a month. But they'll come and they sit and they listen, and we did a vision board meet and greet in January. And I put on that to be able to go into the prisons. I didn't say how, just to be able to get my message in the prisons, because sometimes people just need what's real. They don't need that sugar coating. Girl, go on with all that. You went to prison 3 times behind a man for what? You tripping. Do you gotta make cakes?
Right, for real.
I don't bake cakes.
Right.
I'm not saying I don't know how. That's not my MO.
Right.
But if you know how to bake cakes, baby, sell cakes to the folks at the church. When I was flipping the food stamps, my pastor would cook the food. I would just box it up and had my daughter and my son riding all over Bossier City and Shreveport, selling plates at the plains. And my rent was getting paid. It's a way to do it. You just gotta stop being so, and I'm keeping 1,000, so lazy and so uncaring and so ungetting up and going. Because you gotta get up and go. Because nothing's gonna come. It's not, and if it's free, sometimes it's not worth it. In certain situations. You know, everything good is not good.
So what you got coming up? You said something in June?
No, but June the 24th, I'll be speaking at a girls' home in a church in Shreveport, Louisiana, Christ Center. They have a girls' home there. So I'm speaking there June the 24th at 12 noon. And then July the 8th here in Dallas, in Cedar Hill, Texas, we're doing our annual back to school / celebrity influencer basketball game. So we always have over 300 people there. We let the kids play first, and we let the celebrities or the influencers or the people that come that just want to help, and they're the referees for them. And then usually we have like the guys from the Nation of Islam and you know, different people come and they play with the adults. So everybody gets trophies, everybody gets jerseys. I partnered with Brian Simmons from Bentley, Rolls-Royce Bentley, and he's general manager there. And so he and I are good friends. So he has an organization now, and so he's going to be playing against the other team. So he's sponsoring the jerseys. Shouts out to him. Last year, Claudia Jordan sponsored the jerseys.
Seen it.
So she did it last year, and so it worked for me. And believe it or not, when you come, you think I have this big team of people. But when you look at my videos, everything is always first class. It's so organized because nobody did it for me with my children. So when I did Christmas, I did 625 kids, my husband and I, out of pocket. And we had some help from Toys for Tots. But for the most part, we did clothes, Apple Watches, jewelry, 625 kids. And then again, the guy from Bentley, he called me like, Tisha, let's go do some pop-ups. So we went to trailer parks, we went everywhere. Being sarcastic, I learned there's some smart people in federal prison, and they don't want you to be free, and so you can't learn no more smartness or whatever. They don't want you, because you got some smart people, and not just federal prison. You got some smart, intelligent people in prison, period. But I learned that it's a lot of people, and that everybody that goes to federal prison, they don't go because they jacked somebody or they killed somebody or they did some dumb stuff, snatching a purse. Some people in there, your Martha Stewarts, your Wesley Snipes, your Little Kims go for money and, you know, tax evasion and stuff like that. And they're some of the smartest people, the most intelligent people. So that I learned, but I also learned, most importantly, that I didn't want to go back. It was okay. I'm not saying going to prison is cool. What I'm saying is federal prison was okay back then in the 90s when I went, because they used to let the guys from Purdue A&M come. and when we have 4th of July, like we have because we could we could get our clothes every 6 months. Yeah. So we could change clothes, like we can have swimming suits and shorts and all of that. So they would let them come. You talking about 20 men to thousands of women, but we would have a live DJ. I mean, we had it going up. Yes, and we didn't have no like the state prisons with the barbed wires and all that. Federal prison, they like, okay, you leave if you want to. We not stopping you. It's just a little bitty gate. I ran track. I could jump that fence running. But they didn't trip. Like, you know, so it was okay. We had commissary. We had our own laundromat. We had our own hair salon. When you get your cosmetology license, yes, I was at the camp. So you could do all of that stuff back then. And as a matter of fact, I always say I've never worked, but we had a little job detail thing where we could go out in the community. And one of my friends from Houston, God rest her soul, she died. She was there locked up with me in the feds, and she was the town driver. They call him the town driver, so you have to apply for that job. And so she would take us out to play softball. I was on the softball team. Then I was playing for the choir, so we would go out to different churches. So it was like we wasn't even really basically locked up. You know, just couldn't see my kids and couldn't go nowhere. It's like college. But I still learned that I didn't want to be there, and I knew that I had something greater, a greater calling. And I was so crazy. I remember one time, and I think I just recently told my husband this, and we've been married 14 years now. One time I went to the counselor's office, and I had them to call, what's the record label that Jimmy Iovine on?
Death Row.
Was it Death Row at the time? Might have been.
Aftermath.
No, it was the one before that. Interscope. Yes. Interscope. So I had them to call there. I had the counselor to call because I wanted to be a rapper. Oh my God. But they let me talk to him. This was so crazy. Like, now to go back, because I didn't really think he was nobody then. I just wanted to call a record company because I thought I've written, but I got some raps. I think I wrote a rap one time when AIDS first came out. And if I can remember, it was like, believe me when I tell you AIDS are in your town. So to all of you girls, keep your skirt tails down. Ooh. AIDS will run your pressure up, it'll let your spirits down. All you ever think about is not being around. To watch your kids grow up and finish school. So stay away from AIDS because it's not cool or whatever it was I wrote. But I had the rap down picked. I thought I was about to do it. You know, all my raps was positive raps. Yeah. But then I never ever pursued it. Like he was like, yo, send me some tapes. He was like, send him some stuff. And I never did. I had my husband laughing about that. I said, boy, I thought I was doing it. And then, you know, I play drums. I try to play drums. He teased me because he's a real drummer. Right. So he played drums too. And he's like, girl, you just be packing. You know, but I tried it. I tried everything. But being in federal prison back then in the 90s was totally different from when I went in 2011. 2011, I'm like, oh, no, this not for me. I back then, I just was telling the gentleman right there that I used to could lay on my bunk and I was on the top bunk and I could flip backwards without touching nothing. Boom, and I laid on my feet.
Just athletic.
Boy, when I went back in 2011 at the age of 4, I can't do that no more. I'm not, I mean, I might could do a little jogging. I tried to play kickball and all that stuff, but no, I'm not doing it no more. So I just know that life is just so precious. And after losing my mom, my dad, and my son, and my grandmother, who I was really, really close to all my life, it's like, it's too serious. Life is too serious to be played with. We can enjoy life. God wants us to enjoy the amenities. I was listening to a preacher this morning that I used to play drums at his church in Louisiana, and I was watching his live 8 o'clock this morning, and he was saying that sometimes we want people to think that having material things is a bad thing. It's not. It's just how you act when you get it. And it's what you do with it when you got it. Even with money, let me tell you, I be Xing people off my page, blocking folks. I don't care. People, you get to talking about money, they get to cringing, they get mad. Oh, she think it's all about money. Baby, it is about money, because if you don't have no money, you can't pay your light bill. You can't buy your children no Pampers. You can't put no gas in your car. You can't keep a roof over your children's head. Jesus taught more in the Bible on money than he did on salvation. A lot of people don't even know that. He didn't say loving money. He didn't say that you shouldn't have money. He said for the love of money. It's the root of all evil. That means that how you let it control you when it becomes your God. And a lot of people don't understand that. See, I done had money, I done lost money. One of my homeboys, he got murdered. Right? After he told me, 2 days after he told me this, one time he was laying in the floor at my clothing store. I had a clothing store in Bossier City too. And he says, Chuck, he said, you just got to get you a man that's got half the hustle you got. Cause he said, cause you hit rock bottom and you bounce back up the next day. He said, it don't even take you long. He said, like you be going straight, then all of a sudden all hell break loose, you on the right or you on the left, you just get sidetracked. He said, but I've never seen nobody that lose it all and then I can remember one time, this is the truth, and I'm not ashamed to say, I got evicted one morning. I had a house the same day. I had my kids out there getting the people putting the stuff on the side of the road. I went and got a truck because this particular week I had been going through depression. I'm a hustler. So I'm like, how I just didn't give a darn, just like, okay, but I got to shake that. Same day, my oldest daughter, we laugh about that. If you watch that video, we talk about stuff like that. Like I would go through stuff and my kids would be right there with me, but I never ever put them off on nobody else. I always made a way. She always said, Mama, if anybody can make a way, it's you. Because you always bounce back. And he said that to me that night. And 2 days later, he got kidnapped by some drug dealers. And they killed him and burned him up in the trunk of the car. But that always stuck with them. That was the last thing he said to me.
Well, he was
Chuck,
from there.
Bossier.
Yeah.
He said, Chuck, all you need is somebody that's got half the hustle. And then my son was killed and I moved to Texas. And my husband looking at him when I first met him, I didn't think that. But then after we got together and we just started doing things together, we always say I balance him in one way and he balances me in another way. So yeah, he had to teach me how to respect the money. Because I would make money, I'll go to the casino and win $15,000, $10,000 and I go spend it all on my kids. Knowing I gotta pay, I would just go because that's what I wanted to do. I want to buy them some starter jackets. Let me do this. Let me, Sean John was out. I'll be buying all kind of stuff for my son and my daughters. But until I learned to respect, sometimes I give so much away. Like I think a couple of weeks ago, I told him, I said, all the money I had in my purse, I gave it away today. Like, I don't even remember how much it was. I didn't even count it. And then I was like, you know what? I ain't even tripping. Because I know one thing, it's more of a blessing to give than it is to receive. And I tell him all the time, is sometimes I go to the refrigerator and I may start crying. I've never been a crybaby. Like I thought that was for weak people. But I start crying, like, girl, what you crying for? And I'll be like, babe, I remember when all I had was $5 to my name. When I was on the run from the police. I started all the way over because remember my dad just got sentenced. So I really had nothing to worry. I go from Minden to Shreveport. I'm staying with my grandmother and she didn't really have them, but she used to be doing some weird stuff, like, oh, my card said we gonna get rich today. I was like, well, where is that? What you wait? Forget them cards. We ain't got no money. I gotta go sit on the corner over here and sell rocks and I would put the drugs in my baby stroller. My son is deceased and go out there on the corner and sit on that wall all day to make money. But I was so broke and emotionally disturbed and broken in spirit as well. Not just broken financially, but I knew I had to save every penny I had because I'm staying in this little house. My mom kept my daughter, and so I'm staying in this little house and it doesn't have no lights. So I would just go there late at night. I would buy a gallon of juice and the crackers and the buying of sausages, and that's what me and my baby would eat. Because I didn't want him to stay with my mom because she was already keeping my daughter. So I was like, if I got the dope in my baby stroller, they ain't gonna blah, blah. I just always thought I had all the sense. But long story short, I had to go through that and I had to learn to save. But my husband never struggled in his life because his grandmother, he's never had a struggle. So he don't know what a struggle is. So sometimes he get upset like, oh, I can't believe them people don't have $5. I said, why you can't believe they don't have $5 when I've been at a point where I had $5 and I went to Arby's and bought a 5 for $5 to feed my kids. Or I went to the dollar store and all I had was $5 and I had to get the $4 roll of tissue, a gallon of juice, and some soups to feed my kids. Now, I tell people all the time, I don't care what you think about me. I'll come in the Walmart. I'm the same person in a Walmart t-shirt and the shoes that I am at Jimmy Choo or whatever the case may be, because it doesn't make me who I am. But I'm humble, and that's why somebody need to hear this on this podcast. Let me tell you something. God does not bless what he can't trust. You hear me? And if you're not humble, see, some people, they so arrogant, and you think they so rich and so wealthy, and they really miserable. And they really don't have what you think they have. because they're too honorary. And some people elevate themselves and they get to a point where they so heavenly minded till they know earthly good. And God blesses those people. See, I stay humble. And when people say, I can't believe you. Well, I was out there another day in my Maserati. I got a custom, you seen it, custom design Maserati. No NBA player has it. Nobody in the United States has that car. My husband custom designed it. And then he turned around year before last and custom designed the purple Bentley. And I don't say that boasting. I said that because God can trust us. Right. We're givers. And he says, I bless a cheerful giver. So when people come to me, I remember one time this lady came, I just be telling you. So I had this event, right? No, it's cool, I gotta say this. So I hope she sees this podcast too. So listen, I had this event one time and this lady come to my fashion show. I got this celebrity fashion show. And this particular year, I brought Yandy from Love and Hip Hop because Mendeezy had just went to federal prison, remember, for selling drugs. So now Mendeezy and I and my husband, we're all the best of friends, right? So I brought Mendeezy year before last. To when he got out to do my fashion show. He thought he would come to do a walkthrough. I had him talking and everything the day before Father's Day. So now he loved me. Like he told his son, say, Miss Tisha is crazy, but she real. I keep it 1,000. So this particular year, we got Yandy coming and this lady comes in. She's driving. This is before I got my Bentley or my Maserati. So and I think I just had my little Mercedes. So she come, I had my CLS 550. I still got that car. It's my everyday car. First foreign car I ever had, y'all. My husband bought it. Oh, it still smells brand new. So she comes to the front. She was like, oh, she tells my husband, she think he's a worker because he's so humble. Like he just sitting at the desk in a t-shirt, like at the front desk taking the money. And she was like, oh, I want to make a donation. She throws her black card on the counter. Right. My husband does not play. He not starstruck. He don't give a. My husband is a Forex trader, so they let you know he about his business. Yes. Yeah. So he says, I don't want it. She was like, oh no, slide my card to that. So the girl said, oh, I'll slide it so it didn't work. Well, I guess it's got a block on it because of something. So she ended up meeting me outside the door. I was getting ready to do red carpet. And she was like, how much money are you trying to raise? So I turned around and said, I beg your pardon. How much money are you trying to raise? How much a van costs for your nonprofit? The van that I have now, Yandy helped me raise the money to pay cash for it. So my Mercedes van is paid for too. So she said, I looked at her and I said, that van is paid for. It's a Mercedes Mentress. So she said, because I was gonna donate. But she said it with such a spirit that it was like, you're doing me a favor. You're not. Because I've been doing this 2 years already now. So I told her, I said, thank you, but no thank you. God bless you. I don't want it if you don't want me to have it. And here's the deal. God doesn't want you to give it if you don't want to give it.
They were just doing that to brag about, yeah, I do.
Exactly, but you didn't because I gave it back.
You know how people
and I passed them up.
Right.
So God says, I will make your haters your elevator. You know what I'm saying? He'll use you. Use your haters and let you ride them like an elevator. They keep talking, he just keep raising you up. And so I'm cool with that. I've had people to call me that work for me that I'm paying them a salary and say, can you take your car off your page because people don't want to donate $2 because they think you mean, they think you honorary, they want to know why. Yeah, yes. So I just let everybody go. Y'all gotta go. If y'all got that kind of spirit, if they comfortable enough to call you and feel like you gonna hate on me and you don't know my private pain, God said, I took your disasters. Listen, I did a live on this and he put it on public display. I didn't understand why every time I looked at the news for 5 days straight, my son was on there. And I was angry and I was mad with God. And I didn't go to church. I quit church. I quit everything when my son was killed. Yeah. Because God showed me and I'm like, God, I told you not to do that. And you did it anyway. Like, I thought we were cool. Yeah. Like, I do what you tell me to do, and then you do what I tell you not to do. God, come on now. You could have took anybody. I told him to let me die. Right. Yeah. 2 nights in a row, don't let him die, let me die. And he still didn't do that. And you talking about broken? I wanted to die. I wanted to get in the, like, God, why you do this to me? So he says, I took that public disaster and I put it on public display. And I took your private pains and I showed people publicly your prosperity. Because you went through it like a trooper. See what he does, he says, I'm gonna show them according to how you go through. So however you come out, it depended on how you acted when you were going through.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? He says, I'll bring you through it. It just, how you come out of it depends on you. So I had to learn it the hard way. And when I say sometimes I used to be like, God, I gotta be tripping.
Right.
But then when I came to my senses, I was like, I can't do this without God. I just felt like a ship in the middle of the ocean without a sail. And when you don't have a sail in the middle of the ocean, you can't go nowhere. So my daughter, I was sitting in the hotel room one day. I didn't put my kids in school. I had them depressed. I wouldn't answer the phone. My cousin, who used to be the Queenpin, he would come and bring me pizza to feed my kids, or I would write her checks. I was just miserably destructive, emotionally destructive, spiritually destructive. I was mad and angry. And so finally one day, I heard my daughter, the baby girl, answer the phone. She's like, we can't do that because my mama depressed again. And I was like, you know what? I went to see my pastor and he prayed for me. And he says, Tisha, he said, even if you would have been in the truck with Al, he still was gonna die. You see the other people that were in the truck with him live, and he died. And I had to go back and apologize to them children's parents because I was mad at their parents. Like, why your daughter didn't die? Why your son didn't die? Why was my son? Like, I don't get this. But God said this is the way it was planned. And all he did was use that to get me out of Louisiana. Because I still felt like I could still do my little, slick here and slick there, do some stuff and make some quick money. And God just took all that. He stripped. And I came here with nothing. And the apartment was first month rent free, deposit free. And I filled that online. I thought coming to Dallas, I thought going to Oak Cliff off of Sunnyvale. I thought that it was the with them throwing apartments, everybody.
What, the Hamptons?
Rosemont.
Yeah.
I thought I thought that was Beverly Hills. I was like, and then get over there and I'm like, I'm back in the hood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it was first month rent free. So I got time now to make a little money to do what I need to do. So that's how I ended up in Texas, and that's where I landed. But thank God now I don't have to I go to church over there. I play for a church over there, but I go back over there Easter. I don't know if you saw my page. Yeah, I packed 175 Easter baskets at my house, me and my husband and my children. And we went out to the apartments in the neighborhood where my husband was raised. And that line was around the corner. We blessed 175 kids with Easter baskets, and we gave out free tablets. So I just feel like God blesses me to be able to give back here to bless other people. And that's what I do.
Well, I really appreciate you blessing me with your time. Bless me with your presence. From here on out, I'm calling you Miss Queen, because you bless everybody that's around you and that comes to you. Is just they gonna shine, and if they fake, they gonna move around.
They gonna have to.
They gonna have to.
They don't. The spirit irritate their demons. They can't stay there long. So I'm just grateful for the opportunity too.
Exactly, and I want to give you a gift of appreciation.
Oh, I appreciate it. My favorite color too.
That's my grandmother's favorite color.
Watch out now, that means, but purple represents royalty, y'all. So hey, get you something purple. If it's nothing but a hat. Yeah. If you speak your destiny into existence, I say that all the time. And the power of life and death is in our tongues. And if you're not where you want to be, act like you where you want to be, and think like you're where you want to be, and feed your spirit with that you want to go in you, because whatever we put in us is what comes out of us. If you listen to rap and cussing all day and talking negative, I always say the conversation, I'm gonna end it with this. The conversation at the table with millionaires is totally different from the conversation at the table with broke folks. And I'm gonna leave y'all with
that Big Federal Nightmare, episode 4. Over with Letitia Queen Scott up in the building.
Thank you so much.